Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Kinky Politics. I am your host, Kai, and this is your other host,
Kirk.
So great to be with you. Today's episode is all about sleep. Sleep. Sleep is so important. It's so important, and God, I don't get enough of it. Can you tell? God, don't look at my bags. Oh, God. I wish I could sleep like Kirk. Kirk sleeps like an elephant. I don't even know how elephant sleeps, but that's just to tell you that an elephant, in my mind, sleeps heavy. What's that about? Yes, a long trunk.
Because I got like a big nose.
So, yeah, he sleeps sound and still, and he wakes me up because he snores. But, sorry, just put him on blast.
Not all the time.
Not all the time. But anyway.
And you wake me up.
Because I'm reading.
Because you're moving around.
In bed.
Building the pyramids.
I am building the pyramids.
Like, what the hell?
And, the reason why we're talking about it is because it's been such an issue in our lives, particularly mine. And then I met Kirk, and now it's become an issue in his life, where it wasn't an issue. He has no problem sleeping, but he's become invested in trying to figure out ways to help me manage my sleep. And I think the reason that we've decided to talk about it today is because we're not, we realize that we're not the only couple who struggles with sleep issues, but outside of that, we're not the only people who struggle with sleep issues, or whose partners struggle with sleep issues, or whose loved ones struggle with sleep issues, And I think for a lot of people, sleep issues started when they were kids. That's not always the case, but I think for a lot of people that seems to be true. I know that women struggle with sleep or insomnia because every woman I talk to is like, God, I'm struggling to go. I'm struggling to go to bed. And when I talk to my girlfriends, they're like, Hannah, one of the last conversations we had, she was like, I haven't slept in 3 days. And this is, and my friend, she works in sales. She's a high-powered woman. Imagine having a high-powered job like that and she doesn't sleep. But, we know that this isn't just a gender issue. But I have found that it seems like more women have difficulty sleeping than men do. And why is that, Kirk? What? I appreciate that big gulp.
Could be a number of reasons.
Life is just good for you.
I think it could, there's a little bit of like, caveman sort of biochemistry evolution, where like men are just like, I've done my work for the day, I've worked, and now it's my time to sleep. And I've earned that right, and this is what I do. And basically sleeping is basically one of my jobs.
I
really sleep.
I really appreciate the fact that you turned into a Viking.
Yeah, and I think the sort of maybe there's some evolution with the female species where I know, sorry, where
that's how weird we are, guys. We're a whole species now.
Where you're wired to be like
warriors, protectors.
Yes.
Warriors, protectors.
Exactly.
Even though men are supposed to be the protectors.
In a different way.
You hunt and gather. You're supposed to be
And-
looking around on the floor. When we're asleep, you're supposed to be fucking taking watch.
No, I think that's exactly what you do. So,
That is what I do.
So
I
I
make
think,
sure that
I
no
think
one
there's a
kills
little,
us.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a makeup which leans the needle further one way or the other because of that between men and women. But there are a lot of men that suffer insomnia and struggle sleeping. Like, we don't want to just pretend there's no
No, there
men
is.
don't suffer with that. There are.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd sort of just anecdotally sort of know way more women that struggle with sleep than I do men.
Mm-hmm.
Like, most guys I know sleep fine.
Yeah.
And, through you and your friends and other people I talk to, I'm realizing, there are a lot of women that just don't sleep that well. So, it's interesting, why? Is it just coding? Or is it societal? Or is it nutritional? Is it something going on with that? Is it,
Yeah. I think it's
or is
probably...
it a number of factors? Is it everything?
I think you're probably right about that. But I do think that, additional factors... I can never say this word right. Contribute. Am I right? Yeah! I always say contribute. For some reason, it sounds so much better to me. Anyway. I think there are various factors which affect, sleep for a lot of people. I think that also, too, because women bear children, we're already designed to start to go without sleep. It's like women know they have to stay up with their kids. They have to, go through all that stuff. So it's already in our, bodies, I think, to be like, oh, we can be without sleep. But as I get older and things like insomnia gets worse, or, things like lack of sleep starts to be worse, 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and I realize, that's not good, I'm like, how... I realize, anyway, before I even get into how, but I realize how important sleep is and how necessary sleep is. Like, I will wake up not having a proper night's sleep. I'm sorry. Everyone should get a glass of wine like I have. I'm trying to string together my thoughts, and it's like I could go straight to bed. But anyway, I'm realizing how valuable sleep is, because I will wake up not having had enough sleep, and I'll wake up nauseous, I'll wake up dizzy, I will wake up with my stomach gurgling. I didn't know that sleep was fundamental to digestion. I had no clue that sleep was... I knew that sleep was good for recovery. Like, they always tell you, like, if you're an athlete, or they tell you if you do a lot of, training or something like that, physical training, that sleep is your recovery time. And so you need to get sleep. And I didn't realize that it's not just recovery time. It's like the necessary time your body needs, period. Not if you've worked out, not if you've been excelling physically, if you've worked out, not just if you've been excelling physically all the time, but it's actually necessary for just period restoration. It's helpful for your brain development, it's helpful for your physical development, it aids in digestion, it aids in mood swings or preventing mood swings, it aids in, helping anxiety, it aids in, heart health and cognitive health. It helps with things like prevention of like Alzheimer's or things like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just insane, like, that sleep is actually a medicine, and it's something that we're built to do, and it's something that actually has lasting, powerful effects. And the more you go without, the worse it becomes, first of all, to actually attain sleep, but also to catch up on sleep. And the worse it becomes for your body to be able to repair. Like right now, like I don't know how many hours of sleep I got. I got probably 7 hours of sleep, which for me is a lot. And my stomach is gurgling, and I've already eaten. So it's weird. It's weird, and it's also been really enlightening for me to realize that sleep is not just this like
a luxury.
Yeah, it's like it's not just a thing I do. It's like like you should be, you know what I mean? Like it's actually very necessary.
Hell yeah.
He would know because he gets all 8 hours.
No, not anymore. I used to.
We'll drink to that.
8 hours all the time. Now, with this one,
it's over.
no. If I get 7 hours, I'm in heaven. I usually get like 6.5.
I'm just cutting his life in half.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing. I am the Eve. But what say you about sleep?
I think it's like it's so interesting because it's like we're such funny creatures. We're so private, but yet then we're at the same time we're so open and communal. And sleep is one of the things we don't really talk about a lot as open discussions. And we don't really talk and say how we sleep and what we're doing and how we think about sleep and what we do before we sleep. It's sort of like sex in a lot of ways. We keep it very intimate and private, and we don't share. We don't really know often like what other people are doing, how are they going with it, what are the tricks, what do they do to do it well, what do they do to maybe not do it well. And so you just learn bits and pieces over time. You have no idea if you're doing it right, wrong. It's funny because it is so important, and it's really not discussed much. And then saying that as sort of, I think you touched on it right in the intro. It's like there's such a huge gambit of different scenarios of how people live their life and how they sleep. And you've got people that are married that sleep in separate bedrooms.
Yeah, because sleep is so important.
And they're happily married. They've got a great marriage, but like, oh yeah, I sleep in a separate bedroom. I gotta have my sleep. And then other people look at that like, that's crazy. You can't sleep in other bedrooms. But are those people getting good sleep?
Yeah.
Are they just
going
through, just sleeping a limited amount of time. And then you've got people that I think we all know that one or two people that sleep 4 or 5 hours a day, but kill it. They look healthy, they look happy, they're energetic, and they hardly sleep.
Oh, who do you know like that?
I don't know. I think I was talking about other people, but...
Okay, good. You were talking about other people? Okay, good. Okay, cool.
And then you've got people that, just have to sleep like 10 hours. They're like, oh, I sleep, man, I go to sleep 9, 10.
How many hours do you need to
10
sleep?
hours. I've always tried to, over my life, it's about 8. But I find if I sleep more than 9, I'm generally tired. And if I sleep less than 7.5, I'm generally a bit tired. So between, I think, 7.5 to 8.5 is my trial and error, is my happy zone.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's all just different people use sleep so differently, and some people go to bed really early and wake up early, and some people go to bed late, wake up late, or there's some people go to bed late, wake up early, and the people that function off 4 or 5 hours, and you're like, how do you do that? And then there's that phenomenon where the older you get,
The less sleep you need.
the less sleep you need. Now, is this true? I haven't actually really looked into this about the science behind
it.
this, but anecdotally, and you sort of know older people, they sort of
don't get a lot of sleep.
they seem to sleep less,
Anywhere between 3 to 4 hours.
don't they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
am I wrong here?
No, my dad's not that old. He's 65, and he gets around 4 or 5 hours of interrupted sleep. So probably he gets like 3 hours of sleep uninterrupted, and then he'll go to the washroom and then go back to sleep for an hour and then wake up.
Yeah, but is he at his optimum?
I'm not really sure. My dad woke up at 5 a.m. every day, regardless of what time he went to bed, for as long as I've known him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's sort of what I'm saying. There's a lot of people a bit later on in life that I know, they wake up at 5 a.m. no matter what.
No matter what. It doesn't matter how many
They just
hours
wake up
of
at
sleep.
5 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, bing. And is this, what's to that?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it because, is
they
it
also
actually,
say when we're older we need less food.
so we need less food, less sleep when we're older. You would think maybe less food, okay, I sort of get, but sleep, you sort of think maybe you might need more sleep.
Why would you need more?
Because to do the day's work is more taxing than it used to be.
When you're older.
When you're older, like you do the same things, because you're older, it takes more out of your body, more effort, more energy to do those same things.
But
So therefore you need longer to recharge the batteries.
But then, would that be the same thing as food? Wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
get what you're saying. Yeah.
They say, I know for certain they say with dogs as they get age need less food. And dogs as they age, I don't know if they need less
They sleep. Oh, they sleep. Dogs when they age, hey, dog owners,
Yeah,
all they do is sleep.
the dogs.
Oh yeah, they go. You can take them for one walk a day. That's good. They're sleeping for.
Is
the
that
most
because they
rest
have
of
a
the day.
short lifespan? Dogs?
Yeah, they have a much
So as a result they get older and they're like, yeah, fuck it, we need sleep. You know what I mean? Like the closer you get to death, the more you do sleep.
Yeah, but it's still comparative. It's still comparative. The dogs start sleeping a lot. Like basically, and when they call sort of after mid-age, they can happily just sleep a lot during the days, and they sleep a lot. And when they start getting to human age of like 60, 70, which is sort of what we're talking about, they start sleeping.
A dog gets to 60?
In human year, in dog year, like
dog
in
years.
equivalent years, 60 and not in dog years. Like their dog years will be like 10. Is it times 6? Everyone?
I have no.
I think it's
clue how
times
this
6.
goes.
So it's like
I've never owned a dog.
what? I think it's like if your dog's 10 years old, or it's times 7. If your dog's 10, it's 70 in
Okay.
adult in human years.
Okay.
I think you gotta Google that quickly.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I was just checking the timer, but it's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I would like more sleep, and there's lots of. I've realized, at least in my journey with trying to get more sleep, is that there's lots of things that I don't do to get good sleep, which is, I didn't know this was even a thing until 2 years ago, which is sleep hygiene. Did you know? That's a thing. Like, you got to have some kind of a process to going to bed. You've got to do the same sort of things every night to cultivate this sleep hygiene. Like, yesterday for the first time I tried peppermint oil on my pillow, spraying it on my pillow, and I incidentally slept like a baby. I don't know if that really works, as in like
Might have been also
just me exhausted
and
coffee, lack of coffee. I also have been stopping with the coffee, which is very hard. I've been detoxing with the coffee. Anyway, what's your sleep like? Do you get enough sleep? Are you managing your sleep well? Do you feel like you're getting enough time for your body to recover after a full day's work? Is sleep important to you? Is that something that you factor into your life, or something that you make sort of ceremonial? Because I do feel that this idea of sleep hygiene and developing a habit feels very ceremonial. Like, oh, I do this when I go to bed, just before I go 2 hours before I go to bed. Know this, know that.
Yeah.
I don't eat too much. I don't drink too much. I brush my teeth at this time. I don't look at my phone, for example. Like, it feels very ceremonial. And then it starts to sort of have this kind of like spiritual feeling, meaning like, you've taken this thing to another sort of level, where it's like its own I'm going to bed thing, and I've got my own thing, practice about it. I mean, you mentioned, these couples who don't sleep together because they take sleep so seriously, and they've got their own ways of doing sleep, that they prefer to sleep together. I mean, apart, which I can understand, and it's not something that we've started, but it's something that's, I think, quite interesting, and something to take a look at and wonder, what is that about? Why does that happen? And I guess depending on what you think about sleep, it could be very important.
Yeah.
Any
Sleep's important.
It is.
Sleep matters, okay? Folks at home.
And on that note, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. It has been a absolute pleasure.
Hoot! It's been a hoot!
It's been an absolute... Never mind. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week. And if you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe.
Oh my god, orange is not my new black.